So, to get started, I wanted to invite our colleague and friend Peter Smith to the stage, but also Dimitris Iskalkos and Alkis Poulis.
Thank everyone for having us here on this glorious sunny day. I'm Peter Smith from the University of Southampton. I'm the Associate Vice President International. And what we're talking about here is the innovation ecosystem. We've got an international audience, but we want to hear about what's happening here in Greece. But we also want to have a conversation. So what I'm going to do is, in a second, I'm going to welcome our two panelists. But what I'd like to do is to encourage people to really get a conversation. So I might pick on some people in the audience, so pay attention. I'm also aware that we're starting late. We were supposed to be finishing in 2 minutes' time, so I'm going to be quite strict about time. But I would like to get that conversation happening. We're joined by Dimitris Iskalkos, who's a professor in food chemistry at the university here, and by Alkis Poulis, who's CEO of CoTheta. So we've got different perspectives, and what I'd like to do, if I can, is to, starting with you, Alkis, is to ask you just to say maybe 5 minutes, as long as you wish to, with your thoughts really on the innovation ecosystem here in Ioannina, but also we've got an audience that doesn't know very much about it, so and Dimitris will also give us some information. I think Dimitris has some slides, just to give us an idea of where things are going, but also to think about where things are and what needs to happen next.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation. And I'll start a little bit with the joke that my professor is doing. A little bit the history of this building. Let's start. I'm the first student of the first ever student of the computer science department in '93, which was the first alumni of the university that were starting developing the ICT community in the city. So this ICT community has a history, and the history of this building is starting in '97, when the first, my professor coming from MIT created a laboratory with a lack of ICT experts, so he got the students and created a laboratory, and we were writing in '97 the second region in Greece, after Crete, that we had the first regional innovation strategy in '97, which includes this building, the study, the building itself, the funding of this building, and then the structures around this building. And in '98, Professor Iskalkos, correct me, the first ecosystem in Ioannina has been created, starting from the creation of the building, from laboratories, not only in computer science, in mathematics and physics, in chemistry, and the collaboration, the very close collaboration with the local authorities. They created the Business Innovation Center. Professor Iskalkos was the first director. So it was a structure. We have a technology park, we have university laboratories, we have talent, a lot of talent at that period, and then we have a structure from the local authorities connecting municipalities, Chamber of Commerce with the research and innovation community. So the history of innovation in Epirus has, the innovation of ecosystem has a story that is starting from early '90s. The evolution was what exactly Yorgos said before, isolated islands. So the university continued growing, created laboratories, top European level and international level research. We have no startups for almost 10 years, so no spin-offs, no startups, not a system that can be a business-oriented innovation. And then the crisis has started in Greece, and we exactly lost during 2009, 2012, almost the majority of the talent of the area. They are now working in European Space Agency, in big companies, in Google, in Microsoft. They are in the States. They are everywhere in Europe. So, but in any case, this city before and after the Olympiad 2004 still had a research community based on a research and industrial research community. After my studies, I was a director of NIKI Digital Engineering, which in my opinion, it's not here today, Mr. Vaziotis, is and remains the top innovator of the region. We have clients like Daimler, Chrysler, who are doing digital engineering. We're the first virtual reality simulation in automotive. So the cluster is still here and was here before the, I'm calling as a joke, the invasion of big companies from Germany or from Europe to find out talent in the area. So what we have to do now is just to start and rebuild this initial ecosystem. We need structures, we need funding, except the new technology park. We need structure, funding, and we need the support of the university just to distinguish between who are doing here research, who are doing extrovert companies, who are doing startups that can create software here and sell to the States or sell to the global market, or who are going to be the paradigm of Southeastern Europe, where we have good talent, good salaries, meaning less than Athens and Thessaloniki, and to invite here companies to growth only the part of the employment of talent, and we keep the talent here. So we need both, in my opinion, and this should be the focus of the next years. Just to mention, I will not mention names, but now in the States there are 4 bridges that are monitored by software, very critical bridge, software developed in this region. There are clients of except banking or retail or security. There are big airports that are monitored by software that is created in the region. So we have the talent is here. There are a lot of people that, as I'm doing, are investing here, investing in talent. But we need the university and the computer science department, which is not present here as far as I see, to build software engineers. We need software engineers, and we have the talent to have a top software engineers in the region, not developers. I'm making a joke with my employers that, okay, software engineer is the constructor that should build the building. A developer is just the plumber of the building. So we should develop software engineers, should develop top talent. And this needs cooperation of industry, of companies, and university. Thank you for.
Alkis, thank you. That's perfect as an introduction. So I'm going to turn to Dimitris.
Good morning, everyone. Peter asked me to ignite conversation, so I'm going to try to do so. But in order to do so, I'm gonna bring into the picture the failures. Not everything nice, the failures. Alkis already started with the failures. I have, let me tell you one thing about my background. I've lived 11 years to the States. I've been to Silicon Valley 5, 6 times. I have been educated in the United States. I came back in the last 30 years working with innovation in Greece. Total failure. First problem. For some reason, in the Greek culture, we don't collaborate with each other in Greece. There's a big problem. Nobody collaborates with anybody. To express that to you, Tom Friedman, we all know Friedman. Friedman came in 2011 in Greece from New York, the magazine from New York, to make a report what is this Greek crisis about. So he came back to the States and he wrote the famous article, Why Greeks Cannot Become Greeks in Their Own Country. And he said that the problem of Greeks is that they don't communicate with each other. They cannot collaborate. So this is the environment where we try to innovate. I had a presentation which is formed from Nikos Baltogiannis. You can see him sitting in the backside, is the person who presented to you the technology park yesterday. The presentation has to do with all the money, the money that were thrown into the area in the last 6 years in research and developing innovative projects. You can see this means billion of euros. These are EU money coming into the region. I'm not going to go through the slides because Peter asked me not to. There is a strategy. There's always a strategy, regional innovation strategy. We select the areas which are more attractive. These are the area was agri-food, ICT, industry, health and well-being. These are the projects. When you see 8.7 million euros, I had to talk more specifically for the R&D funding of the region. There was a program in which companies and universities were funded by 12 million euros. You can see it on the last side. 12 million in the last 5 years. Agri-food sector, ICT health sector, projects of 3,000 euros each, 300,000, 500,000 for each company. As I said, industry and research centers together. These are the number of projects. 65 projects were filed, 45 projects were accepted. 11, when you see 11, you see the money, you see the euros throwing into all this. These are the statistics. Like I said, I want to thank Nikos. He made these slides for me, and also he was the person who, with the guidelines of the governor of the region, Mr. Kachrimanis, because he is the head of the region. These projects were implemented, okay, in different areas. Here you can see the research centers, 61 research centers participated in this project. This is the new funding program. There's a new funding program that comes now. Now the question is how many new jobs were created from all this thing? I'm not optimistic. We'll find out that at the end, very few jobs were created. The companies were local, agri-food, tourism, etc. So the question is, why? What's wrong? I want to open the discussion from this point of view. I have my own thoughts about it, but I can ask you, what do you think is going wrong with this money throwing into the region? Once again, we will start with the initial position of Mr. Anastasopoulos, who said it's all about jobs. Yes. So we can open, Peter.
Yes, I'm happy to. This is meant to be a conversation. That's the richest dialogue. Please, is there a microphone we can pass over there? Well, there isn't.
This is what you want me to do?
Yes.
Yeah, right? Okay. So let's think it over all together.
Let's
one tiny thing, okay? One tiny clue to give you more thinking about it. Do you see any students around? This auditorium is it's just 50 minutes from the university. You don't even see professors here in this discussion today. So let's open the discussion and you guys present your own opinion about it. And at the end, I will give you my opinion too.
So I don't know that. Do we have I'm not sure we have. Do you feel happy to just? You had a question or a comment?
We need a microphone.
We have a lot of Horizon grants, and there's not enough dissemination to the public and to the final stakeholders, so, as far as you said. So students and professors should be here.
So, I don't know that. Do we have. I'm not sure we have. Do you feel happy to just? You had a question or a comment?
We need a microphone.
Let's.
We have a lot of Horizon grants, and there's not enough dissemination to the public and to the final stakeholders, so students and professors should be here.
So that's you're asking for a so what you're saying, if I understand.
Jobs can be created if there is dissemination to the stakeholders, and this is what was not happening.
And do you mean the dissemination of the information or the
Of the
outcomes
information
or
of
the
the
funds?
research.
Or of the research outputs?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Yes, please.
And it
Well,
position
hang
your
on,
own
well,
opinion.
let's take the questions then, Will. Yes, please. You've got a voice, you're fine.
Kalimera. I think maybe reply for your provocation, no? The disconnection between the needs of society and what we do inside the universities. I can make this very strong comment because I'm actually president of one very big university in the south of Brazil. And what I'm saying is that let's go to save the world. People who were educated like to think in global agendas, but forgot the backyard problems.
Thank you, yes.
Let me give you a first answer to this. There is a problem. People need reference points. If you talk to everybody talks about Silicon Valley. Nobody believes about Silicon Valley. Why? Because nobody has visited it there. I'll give you my own experience with Silicon Valley. If you go to Silicon Valley, they're gonna tell you that sky is the limit. You can do everything. Sky is the limit. Just a tiny clue.
Alkis, can I bring you in on these questions?
Dimitris, I'll reply to you, but last years, starting from 2016, is something that is not visible in everyone that is not involved in the ICT industry of the region. We have a growth of more than 500% of the jobs. Not only from the big companies that are coming, like the European PNI that are coming in the region. There are 20% of the employment. I'll explain. I've created 2 startups. My friends created 5 companies. The local companies, like the NetTech that you have seen yesterday, and also the Terracom, has almost double, correct me, double or triple their employees. And the biggest employer in the region, I'm talking about top talent, is United States and China. Nobody knows that. What we are doing with the students? Students are not here, okay? The computer science department is creating computer scientists. I need virtual reality or metaverse developers, which is my job, or digital experts in Python or data science. So we're starting with the students, who are offering paid internship, who are paying now for PhDs, top PhDs, and all this, and I know very well that I cannot keep them after 2 or 3 years. My former employer now is working in a Chinese company, Binance, and is taking about 200,000 euros from his home in Ioannina. So now we have global talent. So we're talking about global talent that cannot be even attracted by the investors that are coming here to find out a cheaper job. The area for a senior or mid-senior developer is about 40% less the salaries, gross salaries from Athens or Thessaloniki. So there's a chance. But the top talent will never be attracted by them because they need to be on the top of the industry. They need to start and work in the global. They work on Silicon Valley. There are a lot of guys that we had employees, and after 2 or 3 years now on the European Space Agency, in NASA, we have 3 guys from here working in NASA, in Artemis. So the issue is that, can we keep them here? I'm not sure. So but can we keep the mid and senior level developers and senior level engineers? Maybe. If we have some incentives of the government and try to keep the top talent. I'm talking about top talent. So the innovation is here. We need funds, not public funds. Public funds are very bureaucratic. So we are going now. My startups have been ever involved in public funding. We try to find funding from ourselves or from banks. You cannot handle the bureaucracy of the European general funds or regional funds. I'm expert not only in the region, I'm expert now in the European Investment Fund. It's 1 billion fund that the European Commission is trying to be the, let's say, the public venture capital. I'm expert in smart cities and digital metaverse. I've seen that no one of the companies from Greece, just some days before, a company from Crete was able to receive these funds, are very competitive, so are going to compete directly. German companies, Italian companies, Southeastern Euro companies, who have direct competition with Southeastern Europe. Now I've been in Bucharest, in Sofia, in Kosovo, in Belgrade. They are building local innovation ecosystems, but they have as well venture capitalists inside the building. They have angels, business angels, they have funds, and they try to create all this ecosystem, because what we need to do business is funds. Ideas are here, we can access now easily the global market, ICT is global, so that's the challenge from my point of view.
Alkis, thank you. I think just for those, we've been in Athens, and one of the themes that came up was very much what you're describing, which is that workers can live in one country and they can work online for another country, and you then lose skills. And one of the things that was raised with regard, in fact, to Brazil, was that when those workers, if they've got good English, they work for a company overseas virtually, and they're lost, their skills are lost. But this comes to the point about government, and you raised this point about the need to get funding. And I think the governor would like to say some thoughts. So if we have a microphone.
Εμείς ως Περιφέρεια Ηπείρου, την προηγούμενη διαχειριστική αρχή, είχαμε το πρόγραμμα Νέα Γνώση.
Here in the region of Epirus, during the previous programming period, we had the program New Knowledge.
Σε αυτή την περίοδο έχουμε προγράμματα που λύγει τώρα, τα οποία είναι μέσα στην έρευνα και στην καινοτομία με ερευνητικά κέντρα.
During the current programming period, we have funding programs and projects for research centers.
Πολλές φορές που συζητάω με ανθρώπους που είναι στα πανεπιστήμια ή στα ερευνητικά κέντρα, μου λένε πόσους μεταπτυχιακούς ή ντοκτοράδες έχουν.
Many times when I discuss with the professors at the universities, they usually mention the number of PhDs and postgraduate students.
Αυτό δεν μας ενδιαφέρει εμάς. Εμάς μας ενδιαφέρει προστιθέμενη αξία στον τόπο.
This is not the case for us. We are interested in the added value for the local society.
Αυτό που βλέπω σε κάποια ερευνητικά κέντρα που κατάλαβα πώς πρέπει να το δουλέψουν είναι ποιοτικά προϊόντα που δίνουν πάνω στο πλεονέκτημα που έχει ο τόπος μας, ειδικά στον πρωτογενή τομέα.
My experience shows that some research centers are quite succeed because they invest on the advantages of the local advantages, and they work with them.
Στους άλλους τομείς δεν έχουμε ακόμα χειροπιαστά αποτελέσματα. Θεωρώ όμως ότι αλλάζει η νοοτροπία των πανεπιστημίων και των ερευνητικών κέντρων.
On the other sectors, we might not have tangible outputs and results, but we consider that how the research centers are thinking is changing.
Και έτσι, και εδώ βλέπετε, ας πούμε, ότι εγκαταστάθηκε εδώ και 5 χρόνια μια εταιρεία έρευνας και υψηλής τεχνολογίας.
And the example that we see here today, a new company was established 5 years ago here.
εγκαταστάθηκαν και άλλες εταιρείες ξένες εδώ και αυτό έδωσε το έναυσμα σε εμάς για να ξεκινήσουμε το κέντρο έρευνας και υψηλής τεχνολογίας στην Ήπειρο.
Then followed some other companies, and this was our inspiration to start the park of high technology and innovation here in Epirus.
Υψηλό δυναμικό ποιοτικό υπάρχει, αλλά εγώ πιστεύω ότι αυτό που τελευταία αλλάζει είναι πανεπιστήμιο με συνεργασία με την ιδιωτική πρωτοβουλία. Αυτό δεν γινόταν τα προηγούμενα χρόνια.
Indeed, there is highly expertised graduates here, but this is what is that make the difference is that we can see now that there is a cooperation between the private sector and the universities and the research centers.
Αυτό βλέπω ότι σιγά σιγά αλλάζει. Είναι μεγάλη υπόθεση αν δει κάποιος σε αυτή την αίθουσα όταν η P&I παρουσίασε το δυναμικό, ότι άτομα τα οποία προτού να έρθει αυτή η εταιρεία στα Γιάννηνα ήταν σχεδόν άνεργα και σήμερα είναι στελέχη περιοπής.
And the establishment of P&I is a great example. It is give work to highly expertise people that otherwise maybe that would have to leave. And now they stay here and they are high executives of the company.
Το ζητούμενο από όλα αυτά είναι η ποιότητα και να δουλέψει ο κόσμος. Αυτό νομίζω ότι σιγά σιγά γίνεται κτήμα και στην κεντρική εξουσία, αλλά και στα ερευνητικά κέντρα.
What is we asking for is quality, of course, and the creation, as you all, everybody mentioned, of new jumps.
Και αυτό που κάνουμε εμείς με το Κέντρο Έρευνας και Τεχνολογίας 15.000 τετραγωνικών τώρα, που περάσαμε πολλές δυσκολίες, αλλά ήμασταν οι πρώτοι που τελειώσαμε τις διαδικασίες, νομίζω ότι είναι η απαρχή και σιγά σιγά γύρω από το Πανεπιστήμιο και γύρω από τα ερευνητικά κέντρα θα αναπτυχθούν, αφού και εμείς θα βάλουμε ένα κομμάτι μέσα για startup, εταιρείες για μεταπτυχιακούς που θα συνεργάζονται με τον ιδιωτικό τομέα.
And our initiative for the development of the research center and research and high technology center, it is just the start here, and we are going to include a part with for startup companies and research.
So, Governor, I think we should, if it's okay, we'll take.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Okay, we want.
So we started pretty much half an hour late, but what I'd like to do is give both of our panelists a chance to say a couple of final words. But I'd like to ask the room if there's any more comments, especially as has been generated from the conversation with the Governor. Yes, please.
Just shortly, I would like to agree with the Governor that the university and industry collaboration has started changing, maybe not in the pace that we all wanted to. I mean, at least the people that we are here. The university has been reluctant to commercialize research outcome for many years, and this was the case all over Greece, and especially in the periphery. Few of us have been, Dimitris and me and other people, have been working towards this direction, but still we have to do more. But then, in order to continue the discussion, I would like to ask Arkis, because Arkis said, how we can keep this high, medium to high, to top talent in the area working for the local SMEs or building their own SMEs. How could we do that?
Thank you for that question. So, Alkis, if you could ask this and then give your final thoughts, and then we'll ask Dimitris to come in at the end with his final thoughts.
Okay. with global competition, it's very difficult to keep top talent here. Okay, that's clear. We are staying here for other reasons. We are not here, but their talent. No company in this area can provide this kind of salaries. Even the biggest one, or even Microsoft and Google, to try to be here, they cannot keep the talent. You keep the talent only if you provide them incentives to do their own business, their own startup, to be here, and to start from here. The same was on the Southeastern Europe. You know very well that I'm working in Southeastern Europe. There are top talent from Romania, Bulgaria, Serbia. They're just going to the States. The same happens now in Athens. They start the companies in Athens, and then they go to Silicon Valley. We have about 10 Greek companies that started in Athens, supported the ecosystem, but they'll move. But they are still in Athens. They are employing people in Athens. So we have to provide incentives to the top talent, not restricting the regional innovation strategy. We've written a lot of them. Restricted rules, restricted that you can do only innovation in health, let's say, or agro-food.
So
keep it open.
So, Alkis, if there's one thing that because we have the governor here, what would be the one thing that the governor or the government level could do which would help to keep the top talent here?
Yes.
What's the one thing?
Attract venture capitalists.
Okay, thank you. Now,
provide incentives.
Demetrius, now.
Private funds. Okay, you will realize that we Greeks don't agree. I disagree with Alkis completely. And that's nice. Why? Because it's all about humans. Money are here, but we don't get it. I will be very practical. Following what the governor said, P&I, we had the, in brackets, German invasion in the last 5 years. P&I, the first company, right now employs here in Ioannina 170 ICT people. This is practical. TeamViewer, which is another company which is located, you know, all TeamViewer employs 50 people in this area, just 2,000 meters from here. 150 plus 50 means 220. Where is Mr. Kafatos? Okay. Best Secret, which is the third German company, right now employs 3, which means 222. We heard yesterday Deloitte is coming. They're gonna bring here 20 or 50. Add that. PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is another company which is established now here, it's gonna bring 20, 30. Digital banking, the Terracom, which is a local company developed and progressing in the area, increases employment. This is how I see innovation. I might be wrong, but only this way we move forward. If we don't count the local jobs one by one, created, highly paid, people living here because of our quality of life, etc., we lose track, I think. And from that point of view, in my opinion, because I said that we cannot collaborate with each other in Greece, the secret and the solution to that is that we all have to follow the leader, follow the person who is in front. Not everybody talking differently and having different opinions. We have to have a strategy and a person in front who can work it over. I think in our area here is the governor. If we succeed, we will know that in the next 5 years. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Jimmy. I'd like to thank both of our... Oh, Deborah, yes, please, one last comment.
Thank you so much for your excellent comments and giving us an insight into what's going on in Ioannina. I have a question now. I'm looking at the 50% of funds and centers going to the University of Ioannina and a very accomplished faculty, students. What are the incentives that the university is providing to faculty and students to create companies, to file their intellectual property? Because one of the metrics 5 years from now should be how many startups have come out of this university with faculty and students from here. And I know, we started working on this in the United States back in actually the mid-'80s, 1986 and beyond, to provide the ability for faculty to commercialize technology. And I want to give you the story because it's a very significant one. There was a discovery at University of San Francisco, colleagues have heard me say this, for gene splicing. And Professors Boyer and Cohen filed the patent. Because of our change in laws in the United States, I played a role in this in the Reagan White House. The title of that intellectual property belonged to the University of San Francisco. And guess what company came out of that? Does anybody know the answer? Genentech, the entire biotech industry. And you have to somehow incentivize your faculty here, whether it's rewards, extra recognition, to file patents and let them spend some time with the students and others to create these startups, because otherwise you're going to have a continual.
Okay, Deborah, I'm gonna answer to your question, but from the American experience. Okay, in the States there are patent lawyers. Every university has a patent lawyer, which is a specialized lawyer who will take and write the clues in order to file the patent. A patent has a cost from 50,000 euros to 100,000. The Greek universities don't even know what a patent lawyer means. I know, but you have to start from scratches. Okay, let's start. Number one, there are no patent lawyers. Number two, there are no patent office at the universities. I was a professor in the States, and I know the process. You go to the patent office, you say, I have an idea, the university covers you, pays the expenses of the patent, you find a company, you bring the company in, there is a collaboration, and it starts all this.
So you're going to be in charge of it because it has to be done.
I know, but once again, there is no, if you go to the university here and talk to them about such things.
Yeah, but it's not a matter of if we have a patent office or not, if we have a strategy.
But the strategy starts from the government. I mean, but if you have a patent. But the commercialization, as Deborah said, who is right, goes through patents.
So I think at this point, as chair at this point, this is one of these situations where people are in violent agreement. There is actually agreement here as to what needs to be done,
yes,
which is to get that patent position. The governor is here hearing the energy in the room, which is fantastic. And this is a concrete thing that can be achieved. The question is the chicken and egg? Is it the strategy first? Is it the universities? It's a bit of both, I suspect. And as Deborah's just in, it's joining together. But I think what I hope we have managed to do, thanks to the audience and to our two speakers here, is to get a discussion started, an idea on the table. So if we could thank both of the speakers.